Well, Carmelo, it's always good to be reunited with you, man.
Absolutely.
I like your jacket.
It's nice, right?
It's nice, huh?
It's nice, man. Good color coordination.
Like kind of some Syracuse colors and whatnot.
Light.
NBL, tell me what's up. Tell me what's going on.
It's happening, right? I think it's time that the rest of the world know exactly what's happening over there in the NBL in Australia, and the excitement from around the rest of the world that's happening for the NBL to be having the success that it's having right now, but also the energy around the NBL, but also the Rising Stars program as well. The NBA draft is about to happen, so you'll start seeing, those pipeline of players coming from the Rising Stars program here to the NBA. So it's a lot of excitement around it. I get a chance to, be a part of it in a very integral way, in a very pivotal way, where, we're opening up doors and connecting players, we're connecting talent, we're connecting countries, we're connecting the game of basketball from a global standpoint. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, you certainly were a king in the AAU world. Son's involved in it now. You're involved with OTE, but with all those things, what do you bring as an ambassador to NBL?
Yeah, I don't think. I know I'll be bringing innovative ways to enhance the sport, to enhance the team, to enhance, just the game of basketball globally. I bring insight on, being a professional for 20 years, basketball insight, understanding the game inside out, understanding the business of the game inside out. So it's a lot of different pathways and different doors that I'll be able to open up, not just here in America when it comes to the NBL, but also in other places around the world.
What intrigued you about getting ownership and also being an ambassador for the Stars?
Well, ownership, for one.
Yeah.
But that's always ownership is always that's the ticket, right? Okay, how can I become an owner in the sport that I've been playing for a long time? But also it's not so much the ownership, it's also the access, it's also the relationships, it's also being able to globalize the game of basketball in a way that we haven't seen yet. I think what we see right now from the game of basketball is very minor in cases, in sense of what this game looked like from a global situation, right? And we talk about NBL in Australia, right? We talk about other leagues, Euro League and other leagues around the world, and that's growing and growing and growing. So you're gonna start to see, people gravitating towards the NBL and what we're actually building over there. And just also, I go back to ownership, right? And there's not many of us in the ownership seats, in the ownership group, on the cap table, being able to have impact in these organizations. A lot of times we get in and it's just a small percentage, or you just don't have anything, you show up. For me, that's not my cause. I get in, I like to use my impact. I like to use, my education and my insight and just my experience in a way that I can expand it in a way that is different. And it makes sense, though. It have to make sense.
And you're not taking a team, you're getting one from scratch.
Yeah, I'm building from scratch.
Is that daunting, attractive? Like, what does it mean to you to?
It's fun.
This is your stamp.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun because now I really get to, at that level, get a chance to build it from the ground up. I get a chance to build it and utilize everything that I've learned as a player and implement that now as an owner, right? So it's a different seat, it's a different hat that I have to wear, but it's a fun hat, and I'm looking forward to really, blowing this thing up and expanding it and allowing people to see exactly what we want them to see, which is the development of players, not just here in the U.S., but around the world. Also allowing the guys to understand what it is to come over here, to play in the U.S., to play in the NBA, to play in college, and because there's a big difference. Either way you go, it's a major culture shock.
There's several former NBA players that are involved in ownership in the NBL. Did you talk to any of them? Did it have any influence in you getting involved?
I've been hearing that, there's other NBA guys and former basketball players with ownership over there in Australia, in the NBL. I haven't, spoken to none of those guys. Some of those guys was there early years ago, and you hear about it, but it's like, Australia, I don't really know what's happening over there. You get more intrigued by what you're hearing as opposed to just saying, I want to be a part of it. So over the years, you hear more and more and more about what's happening over there, guys that went over there to play. I've known some guy, one of my best friends, Draper played over there in Australia, so he's always telling me, Australia is the next hotbed. So he was always giving me that information, and now the energy behind, this NBL, this Australia League, and these young guys that's actually coming up and having a chance to make the NBA. So I have to pay attention to that, right? Especially me being in the thick of things when it comes to development of the game in basketball and at an elite level.
The NBA is about 75% black.
Mm-hmm.
Ownership is non-existent.
I know.
As a player, that future Hall of Famer who all-star several times over, star in this league, to know that, what thoughts come to mind, and are you getting any inspiration from that?
I'm very inspired. I'm gonna answer that question first.
Yeah.
I'm very inspired to get into ownership, especially NBA ownership. So I'll answer that question. I'll get that out the way. As far as, not many of us being in those seats, in those ownership seats, in those ownership groups, I think we're gonna start seeing that change. I think we're becoming, as athletes, we're becoming a lot more powerful and having empowerment and impact, right? And access now. I think the amount of money in the culture and what we're in is allowing us to be able to mingle with those guys and have these conversations, and doors are actually starting to open because, for one, now they're not seeing us as just an athlete or just a basketball player no more. So we're able to get into those rooms and have those conversations. Now, what you do once you get in those rooms is up to you. But I do think those doors are about to start opening, and I just think you're going to start seeing more and more and more of us in those positions to have say-so and to run our own teams.
Yeah, how does the experience you're going to gain from the NBL ultimately could help you in terms of if you could get involved in NBA ownership to get that experience?
Yeah, well, it's definitely parallel paths. The NBL is because that's a league that, when Larry took that over in I think 2015, right, and what he was able to create and the energy and just the business that he was able to, create, the sustainability of that league, I look at that as inspiration and as motivation, because there's a lot of people who don't know that, who don't know what's happening over that side of the world. So if I can get into it and allow myself to start from the bottom and understand how the business really works in another part of the world, coming back to, U.S. is, I already know this game. I already know this industry. I already know this business, and I'm learning day to day. So my goal is to help develop all over the world and then try to bring everything together where it makes sense.
So ultimately, you want a piece of the NBA at some point, sounds like.
Now. Now, I mean, I want it now, and that's something that I'm working towards as we speak. So I'm actually excited about those opportunities. So yeah, I want it now. The time is now for me to get into NBA ownership.
How are you guiding Kyan right now through his high school career and what potentially could come?
I'm taking it day to day, for one. I'm allowing the information and the access and the landscape to play itself out, where he can just play basketball and have fun. So that's my thing, is I want him to enjoy this moment is high school. He's supposed to be enjoying high school. He's supposed to be enjoying AAU. He's supposed to be, enjoying being a 16, 17-year-old kid. Basketball shouldn't be, the business side of it shouldn't weigh more heavier than the love for it, right? So I think what he's doing now, he's actually falling in love with the game of basketball, because a lot of people's motivation is money, and that's unfortunate, but it's also fortunate too, right? Because in those situations, I was that. I got to get out of here. My situation was different. So
that was motivational.
That was motivational.
Yeah.
So it was unfortunate that I had to do what I had to do to get out, but it was fortunate that I had something to actually look forward to. Him, he don't have that's not his why, right? He got a different why. So because you have a different why, you don't have to deal with the things that I had to deal with. So that lessens a burden on you to where you could just go play basketball, and you got somebody on that side with me and your mom that's not going to let, from a business side, anything off the court affect anything on the court.
Last thing on him, when did you know he loved the game?
Recently, it's different levels of love in the game. You love the game when you first pick the basketball. I love this. And it's like you get to throw it anywhere you want. And then you go to camp for the first time. You're like, I love this game. I get to dribble and I get to just throw up shots. And then now when shit get real, it's like, what's your love, right? When you not winning games and you losing and all pressure is on you to lead your team, that's a different love that you get from the adversity that you got to face. So right now is where I started to see, okay, he loves the game. He want to work out. Every day he's locked in. He's calling me. He's making a schedule. So when you start doing that, you start stepping up, and that shows me that you're starting to fall in love with the process.
What do you think about the young and rising NBA stars today? It seemed like the torch that you were part of is being passed.
I love it. It should be passed. We can't hold on to them torches. It's when you really think about the torch being passed, it's 20 years. The torch got to be passed at some point. So I just love the fact that there's young stars that you can pass the torch to, right? And feel good about where things are going, and we can exit ourselves out of the situation and stop saying it should be like this, because when I played, we gotta leave that mentality alone. What we seeing now is incredible for right now, right? It wasn't when we came in. It was totally different. So we can't be mad at or bitter towards what the hell is happening today. We gotta embrace that, because that's what we wanted. We fought for the evolution of the game of basketball. And now you're seeing them take what we had and really have access and opportunities and, self-empowerment, and they can do whatever they want to do today.
You see them stealing some of your stuff? You seem like you're a big influence on the younger generation.
Yeah, you can look and see, okay, all right, okay, I see how he would get that. But the game is different. You know what I mean? To do what I was able to do, it's a very specific skill set that you had to have. The game is not called for that today. That's like a missing art, like a lost art. So I don't see, a lot of guys being able to play that type of game. You don't see that out there today as much.
Who do you love? What young guy? Okay, I'm watching him. I got to see what he's doing now. Who's your young guy that you really enjoy watching, or maybe it's plural?
Yeah, I enjoy all of them. Of course, I still consider Ja Morant a young guy. I love watching Ja. I love watching Ja. Anthony Edwards, right? Tatum is still considered young. Devin Booker is 25, something like 20. They the young guys. We just so caught up on the rookies in the second year and third year, but those guys are still in that bucket. It's just those younger guys they right around the corner, or if not neck to neck with some of those other guys. But the Ant Edwards of he's incredible. I love watching, Jalen Brunson is a young guy. Halliburton, he might be one of my favorites in the NBA right now, Halliburton.
You know, I've been really enjoying your entrepreneurial moves.
Yeah.
The wine, the commercials, the investment, entertainment and production, wellness, the podcast, which is dope.
Thank you.
How you, and obviously your father, like how are you balancing all this?
It's hard. It's not hard. I'll tell you why. It's not hard because it's intentional, right? And it's strategy, right? And it all plays a part of one whole ecosystem. And when it's a part of the plan, it's not hard to navigate. It's when it's not part of the plan and when you got to start going outside that plan to navigate, that's when things get, misconstrued, or things get blurred and lines get blurred. So I like to do things that I like to do. I like to work on things that I like to work on. And if it's not, I don't do it. So everything that I do from the wine to the production, to the lifestyle, stay mellow, to cannabis, to like everything that commercials even, that's also a part of the strategy, right? It's like, okay, if we're gonna tap back into doing these endorsements, let it be a part of the strategy. Let it be a part of what we actually is building. So even though there are commercials and it's like, Melo's in all the commercials now, it's like that's
3-in-1 game, by the way. That's pretty impressive.
That's all part of the strategy, right? And hopefully one day you actually get to see the whole strategy. Oh, you will.
You're a great pitchman now, man. I'm enjoying that. Parent calls you.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about putting my son in Next Stars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also thinking about maybe him going to college.
Mm-hmm.
What's your pitch?
My pitch is, what's your goal? What do you want out of this? Right? Are you strictly basketball minded? Right? Are you willing to have a culture change? Right? You have to want to do that at 17, 18 years old, to leave the US to go to Australia and take that chance. You have to be a different type of breed to want to do that. You have to have a different focus, right? So that's telling me that you really want to focus on development and getting better in your game, and you're willing to take that chance. Now, if any of that you're wavering, don't even think about it, because it's not going to benefit you and it's not going to benefit us. Like, that's the real conversations that needs to be happening. It's not, oh, you could come over here and we'll pay you more money and you have it. No, it's the real conversations, because you still got to deal with life issues once you get over there. Are you going to want to come by yourself? You got to trust the organization. You got to trust people. You 18, 17, 18, you don't know how to trust people, right? So my experience brings that to the table. And if you're not, I'll be very blunt, but very honest about those situations. And as kids that they may come to me and say, "Man, Melo, what you think about this kid?" And it's like, he's super talented, he's super good, he would help this. I don't think he's ready for this. Because it's different, man. It's different. It's not this experience. It's not this US experience of growing up in AAU, and it's once you get off that plane, it's about business. Like, you ready to be a professional athlete at that point in time.
Yeah, and you can't just drive home.
You can't drive home. you can't drive home. I don't want to use the word stuck, but you are confronted in a part of the world where you got to figure it out, right? And are you willing to figure it out? Because it's not going to always be great.
Yeah.
But the opportunity of that and what you can get out of it is great. The bigger picture is great, but are you willing to paint, to get to that bigger picture?
LaMelo Ball, Josh Giddey, Alex Sarr, what do those alumni mean to the program as a selling point?
That this concept is proven, right? With all the questions, people may have questions about it, is proven. Those guys are, Josh Giddey is a major part in what OKC is doing. LaMelo Ball is one of the biggest superstars because of that, right? And he went over there and got a different mentality, different mindset, and brought that back to the U.S. So he can say he did it, right? He has that experience. And look at him, right? Alex Sard, projected #1 draft pick, right? He put the work in. He went over there and committed to being over there and put the work in and had a goal, right? His only one goal was to come back to the NBA draft, right? So it's proven, right? So I don't know how you cannot support that.
You've watched Alex since he was at OTE. Obviously, he's going to do a tremendous amount if he's a #1 pick for NBL. For people that haven't seen him, what would you say to him about Alex?
Alex, I mean, the easiest thing is gonna say Wemby, right? It's like Wemby. You can't say Wemby anymore. Like Wemby is Wemby. But I do think what Alex brings to the game, his skill set at that size, being able to put the ball on the floor, being able to protect the rim, being able to step out, knock a jump shot down, being able to defend, right? Those are all attributes that you need to be, if you that tall and you that size, you have to have all of those attributes. And you have to be tough, right? So I just threw that on. You got to be tough. But he checked all of those boxes. And especially when you're talking about a league that's getting younger and younger, that potential is sky's the limit for him. If he already has the work ethic because he's been a part of what it takes to develop and get better every single day. So him coming over here and keeping that work ethic, you don't have to worry about that.
What do you think about the state of the AAU basketball right now and American youth basketball?
Yeah. I just think it's so much access and so much resources that everybody wants to try to do it on their own. Like everybody's becoming a trainer, everybody's becoming the development guy, and training and personal training, that is a major business, right? That's a major genre right now. It's a major, kind of just asset class that people can get real jobs off of, right? And make real living off of. But what end up happening, there's no more development no more. Like you don't have organizations to go to develop. You got to go to individuals now. You can't go to AAU organizations like we was back in the day. And we didn't have the Nike circuit and this circuit and that circuit and that circuit, right? Where if you was the best players, you all came together and played. You didn't go over here and play. You didn't go over there and play. So I think we just got to get out of how it used to be, like in our mindset, and figure out how it should be. What's the new way of doing this? And I think the new way of doing this, everybody got to sit down at the table. We got to have a Godfather conversation. Like, we got to have that conversation. You got to have Nike, and you got to have Adidas at the table. You got to have USA Basketball. You got to have OTE. You got to have NBL. You got to have EuroLeague. And you got to have everybody at the table, because if everybody have the same mindset of growing this game globally, it got to work together. One hand has to wash the other, right? You can't have, for an example, EYBL, Peace Jam sessions at the same time as NBA Summer League. That doesn't make any type of sense at all. It doesn't make any sense, right? So and that's just one small kind of concept off the top of my head. But it's in order for this to happen, and AAU to get back just that good aura and that positivity, I think everybody have to come to the table, and there's some type of structure that needs to happen where everything is supporting one another, where it's 360 all year long and everybody is a part of it, right? So and I know I'm making it sound easy, but it's not easy. But there's a lot of powers that be that can change grassroots basketball.
The death of the G League Ignite, How does that make you guys more important?
For one, it gives another opportunity, right? For people to be like, okay, I'm gonna take this serious. I'm gonna take the NBL serious, or I'm gonna take, this Future Stars program, and I'm gonna see what this is about. So now that's what's starting to happen. It's like, oh, they're intrigued, and people are intrigued about what's happening over there. You start hearing it more and more and more. And social media, they had one of the most craziest games from a fan engagement standpoint out of any league in the world, right? So people are starting to see that. But also, here in the US, like, you have OTE over here too, right? Who is now like, okay, I'm here to stay. Like, we've been trying to help all of this. So now the NBL, they can walk right into the US. We can walk right into the US and say, hey, we setting up we planting a system here. We're growing here. We want to let you guys know that we're real, and we want to be a part of this America ecosystem. So that's what the door that Ignite opened up by Foden.
I'm gonna show you something. I want to see what you think about these two guys.
Okay.
See if you remember them and just your thoughts on them.
I remember the moment. Where
were we at?
We was at Denver University,
Wow,
University of
you're
Denver.
good.
I had the celebrity game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. I got a keen memory.
Where were these guys at that point?
We were trying to figure it out. I was trying to figure it out on my side. You was trying to figure it out on your side. And one thing I can say is we really, we came together. Like, you gonna talk some shit. You gonna write some shit, but I gave you honestly the carte blanche to really, like, if it's something I'm really doing, kill me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, you can say whatever the hell you want to say, but you always kept it 100 with me. So that's why we're here today doing.
No, I think we helped each other out.
We did, hell yeah.
I got the job in Boston. You said you got it for me.
One hand wash the other. Right? That's what it is.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely, my brother, always.